It is the Riot Podcast, the Tuesday, September 5th edition. Welcome to our little show. Start things off with an interesting story from Brazil where I have a guy, 71 years old, and for the last 28 years, he's been legally dead. And
What?
The thing is, he's alive. He's 71, and he just now regained his status of being alive.
How do you lose something like that?
He blames it on his ex-wife.
As you do most things.
Yeah,
right?
It's an easy target. I don't know if she had malicious intent. It doesn't sound like it. But he says that she was illiterate, and so he believes that she was tricked because she definitely signed like the death certificate. She was tricked into signing it. The question is, why would she even do that? Why would somebody trick her into doing that? And that has not been answered. But and you might wonder why 28 years? Why did he only just now solve this issue? Because he didn't even know until this happened back in 1995. He didn't know until 2012 when he tried to vote. And he went to vote in the election. And they said, no, you're not on the list. It says here you're dead. And instead of
red flag, you know?
Yeah, which I love, actually. I appreciate this, that instead of, because I feel like this is what I would do, instead of going, what, I'm dead, let me look into this, I'm going to have to make some calls. He's just like, okay, whatever, and just didn't vote.
Goes back to his regular. He probably thought it was like, he probably thought that was wrong.
Yeah.
Like he didn't think they actually thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm. But he didn't care enough. He didn't care enough about the election to want to solve that issue. So he just went along with his life. But then now he's getting up there in years, ready to collect his pension, his retirement, and whatever, his health benefits too. He needs to go to the doctor, but you can't get doctor's appointments if you don't have some kind of insurance, whatever. And he can't have insurance if he's dead. How could they insure a dead person? So he had to go through a whole court case. It's taken him like 2 years, and now he's finally solved the issue.
He's alive again.
Yeah, legally. But in the meantime, do you think it'd be a benefit, actually, for the government to think you were dead?
I'm sure there's pros and cons to it.
There's got to be. There can't be so many cons because he lived for about 26 years being dead, and it's clearly not being a detriment to him, evidently.
No, because like you can still live your normal day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Nothing would change about your day-to-day if the government thought you were dead. That's how little you are.
Yeah, I guess so. That's
how little you impact the world on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's wild because the only thing that really stopped him was the pension. If it wasn't for that, like, was he getting taxes? Was he paying his taxes? He doesn't have any taxes. There's no way he was paying anything.
But so here's a question then. If he was dead, if they thought he was dead this whole time, and that means they weren't withholding taxes, does that mean he owes taxes on all those years?
How also was he getting paid? I'm really confused about the payment part. Don't you think if he kept on seeing money just flowing into his bank account?
Yeah. I don't know.
How does he even have a bank account?
That is confusing. And he never had to change banks over I don't know. I guess it's a bank check if you're dead. Why would they do that?
But because the money gets split off.
Yeah, I guess that's right. The estates tax or whatever. But I mean, this is Brazil, not the United States.
True, so it's different.
Maybe he was just getting paid cash.
Cash money, baby. Yeah. And they don't know where you're at if you're doing all cash.
Yeah, I can see a lot of benefits to being presumed dead. But in my line of work, that would also be difficult, you know?
Yeah, you'd have to get a new job.
Yeah, I would, less public facing.
You think you'd want, once, maybe this happens to you, right? You find out the government thinks you're dead. You think you go, instead of going to the government to reestablish yourself, you think you just lay low?
I mean, it's tough.
Maybe you disappear.
Until I need some kind of government benefit that would benefit me, then probably, yeah. I don't know.
Don't let them know your next move.
Yeah.
Because
right.
you don't even, the thing is, too, is you don't even have to hide.
Yeah, because they're not looking for you.
Yeah. You live in the same house you've been living in. You don't have to do anything different.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how it would go if you got pulled over by the police.
Uh-huh.
They're like, let me see your ID.
Yeah.
Or if you go to renew your ID, that had to be a weird process too.
Yeah.
A lot of things like that. They really make me wonder what the heck this guy's been doing.
Yeah. Well,
Not much.
Again, I'm assuming it must be much more like rural and, or, just like less paper trail of everything if in Brazil for this guy than there would be for us. Where
Clearly.
I think people would catch on pretty quickly. Something along much sooner than 28 years, someone would realize, hey, this person's not actually dead. Or I would realize, hey, I'm not actually dead and I need to be alive. I need people to think to know that I'm alive.
Somebody in the government, hopefully. But what a wild story. But he's back now. So
yeah, has a happy ending, I guess, because he's getting his pension. All right, good show today. In fact, we're going to start it off next. You're going to see us. We got a little care package in the mail.
Real exciting stuff.
Yeah, I always like to see that. So a good show. Enjoy, and we'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Isaiah, it was a good. It's a good way to start the day. This never happens. We got a package.
Ooh, I love packages.
We got a box in the mail. I didn't even think they delivered mail over the LDW, but Robert is a listener to the show. He sent in a package and a nice long letter as well. Robert, it sounds like an impressive guy. He's a military veteran, which is awesome. And he also appears to be a beekeeper.
Interesting.
And so he bottles he bottles his own honey. And so check this out, Isaiah. We have 4 bottles of like raw. He says it's raw, unfiltered honey.
What are their flavors? Are they all the same? Are they different?
No, we got flavors. We have. Let's see what we have here. We have just standard, regular old honey for whatever purpose. I mean, it's not regular because it's raw, unfiltered, which he says means that it has like all the health benefits. He says do anything with it. So we have raw, unfiltered honey. We also have, though, lavender, habanero, and peppermint infused honey.
How do you feel about honey?
I like honey a lot.
I love honey.
I like honey a lot.
I use it for a lot of things.
Obviously, Robert says us being in radio with our, keeping our voices nice and smooth, this honey will go a long way to doing that. But he says it can do a whole lot else. So that's a big positive. And so I'm looking forward to trying that. But that's not all, Isaiah.
There's more?
There's more, because the reason that he even sent any of this was because he heard me mentioning, I don't know how this came up, but I mentioned that I've put Tabasco in coffee before.
Yeah.
And so he's also sent a hot sauce that he makes himself called the Gwen Reaper. And he wants me to put this in my coffee.
Wow, what a package.
I know.
A little bit of everything.
You
should put that habanero honey in your coffee, too.
Habanero honey and the Gwen Reaper sauce. So I am going to I've got to appease Robert here. And so I've got to put some Gwen Reaper in my coffee real quick.
And give us a little review.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do this. I'll fix it up. I'll mix it up. But, this feels like raw, unfiltered hot sauce, too. It's very chunky.
Is it hot? Smell hot?
It smells hot. He says, I can't remember what he said. Something about it's going to be like an Alicia Keys situation. I'm going to be a girl on fire.
Wow.
All right, here we go. The Gwen Rio. Oh, yeah, that's hot.
How much did you pour in there? A good amount? A lot?
It was a pretty...
hefty pour?
I gave it a good pour. That's, I'll definitely tell you that's hotter than Tabasco sauce in coffee. By several degrees, several measures warmer. But and I can't wait to try this on anything else. But in the coffee, it is very good.
Is it hot?
Yeah, I actually enjoy that. I was worried. I was like, it pours so chunky. But Robert, you did good.
I can't wait to eat all that honey.
Yeah, I know. This is gonna be. You're gonna have to start making tea every morning.
I'm fine with that. I love tea.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Robert in Zanesville, for sending in all this nonsense. We really appreciate it. And it is really good. It's really, really good.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Isaiah, you and so many others watched college football over the weekend. Good to have it back.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Of course. And, we'll talk about the games at some point. But the other big thing that was interesting, besides just actually getting to see college football action again, was that there was a big rule change in college football this year. That they were trying to speed up the game a little bit, similar to in baseball this season. And that was that the clock used to always stop after a first down, right? Is that how?
Yeah.
I just checking my memory here. And now it doesn't stop after a first down unless it's in the last 2 minutes of a half. And so that's resulted, at least the hope was of a result in much quicker games, because college football games would just wind up taking forever, right? I mean, you're talking like 4 hours. And so what were your thoughts on the rule change before I share one concern that people have brought up?
I think it was just a really silly thing to do, because nobody in their right mind has ever complained about football games being too long. If you talk about baseball games, what was everyone's number one complaint? They move too slow and they're way too long. Has anyone ever considered college football being too slow and too long? No one has any complaints. And so they're fixing something or trying to fix something, it seemed, that was never an issue at all. And so for me, I thought it was a bad idea, because it is kind of one of the few differences, too, between NFL and college that a lot of people really like, is that every time you get a first down, the clock stops.
Yeah.
And that's something that's well known in college football. So it's never been an issue. No one's ever had a problem with it. The game was fine as it is. This does not add to the game.
Oh, I wasn't complaining. I don't think I was complaining about it being too long, but at the same time, it did feel like the games would linger. It's football. I don't think it hurt the product on the field when the games would take 4 hours or however long, way longer than NFL games. I just think people have other stuff to do. You're taking up people's time.
Watching college football all Saturday. Yet again, no one's complaining about this.
It was taking too long.
So you're saying that you want less college football? That's what you want?
I just want the game to move along a little quicker.
I wish it would just last longer.
I don't want one game to book up like 4 or 5 hours of my time.
5 hours is a little bit much.
I thought it was a welcome change. I didn't think it hurt the product on the field, but it is a good point that people are pointing out. The games moved along a little brisker this weekend with the first full slate of this change. However, somebody did the math to find out that although the games are moving much quicker, which not only means they take up less time total, but it means they take up less time of the broadcast, so that they are not now able to include more commercials as well, to the tune of, on the LSU Florida State game on Sunday night, you're talking about 2 hours, 27 minutes of game time versus 55 minutes of commercial time. Does that feel egregious to you?
It's going to be the same as before anyway.
Is that not higher?
It might be longer.
I don't think the game is longer.
I think it's pretty darn close.
3 hours, 23 minutes, that's about, in total, that's about what you expect, right, for a college, for an NFL game.
Last year, it would have been the same. I think it's the exact same amount of time.
Oh, no.
You think the college football games were lasting 4 hours last year?
Yeah, think about
there's no way.
Alabama, Tennessee. Think about Ohio State, Georgia.
Yeah, that's the national championship game. It ended at midnight.
Yeah.
And it started at 8 o'clock.
That's too long.
I'm saying, but nobody in the moment was saying that. Everyone was excited during the game.
Everybody was like, how are we supposed to watch the end of the game?
No, everyone was saying, drive the field and win. No one was saying, how's it over? It's not too long.
It's too long. Everybody loves college football.
It's still going the same length anyway, because they're just adding ads. So do you want more football or more commercials?
3 hours and 23 minutes. The commercials are ridiculous. I think the big problem with college football too is halftime is way too long. But that
is true.
I think it's too. I think 3 hours and 23 minutes is appropriate. I think 4 hours is too long, and especially you get the high scoring games, they'll go all night.
So now you get 20 more minutes of ads and 20 less minutes of football.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Isaiah, how long should a first date be?
It's a good question. It's all about, the feel, the vibe. But you ride that sucker out. You ride it out.
So you're saying the longer the longer the better. If everybody's having a good time, don't put a time limit on it.
100%, yeah.
I have here a relationship expert who says you're all wrong. This is dating and relationship coach Kate DeRocher, who says that you should always attempt to keep your first dates under 2 hours. 2 hours is like the sweet spot. Would you like to know why?
She can continue, though.
Yeah, she says that while longer dates that might seem fun and romantic, it can lead to early attachment and obsession with someone that you only have just met. Additionally, it could distract you from any potential red flags that might come up along the way, which is why you might want to, instead of having all that, just extending that first date out, you might want to put a cap on it and come back to it in a few days, see if you're still having so much fun.
So she's saying maybe it'll go too good.
Yeah.
If it extends out. She's saying shorten it to protect yourself.
Right.
Got it.
Because you don't want to... You
don't want to find love.
You want to make... I think she's saying you want to make sure you're thinking straight. You know? Once you're going for 2 hours and there's no end in sight, then you might think, I mean, you're having a good time, of course. If both people still want to hang out with each other for more than 2 hours, it seems all well and good, but there might come a point where, like, maybe your emotion overcomes your sensible side, is how I understand it. And so some of the things that you shouldn't overlook in the other person, you might, because you just get enthralled to obsessed all up front. I can see that side of things.
It's an interesting concept. I think at the same time, if you're falling in love on the first date, that's probably some inner things that you need to figure out on your own before you go on a first date.
Yeah.
If the girl's in love with me after the first date, then that's a red flag as it is. So I think that, if you think that that's a possibility for you, maybe you just hold off a little bit longer.
It could be. Now, I'll tell you, though, Isaiah, that not only does Kate DeRocher, dating and relationship coach, think you need to keep things 2 hours or so, but so does America. Because according to a recent poll conducted by Canada Dry for some reason, the average first date is supposed to be less than 3 hours, is what the average American says.
I would say between the 2 and 3 hour mark is usually pretty good, depending on what you're doing. It just all depends on where you're at.
But you're saying never, if it's a first date, you never pull the plug if everybody's still having, if both sides don't want to pull the plug, keep it going. 2 hours.
Yeah, if it's still going good.
3 hours.
I think if you're under 2 hours, I think that's a wildly short date. Depending on what you're doing, unless you're getting coffee or something for a first date, if you're like going out together for dinner / like drinks or anything, and it doesn't go longer than 2 hours, was it even worth everybody's time?
Well, I mean, yeah.
If it's an hour long.
It depends what you're doing, but I don't think, I mean, you surely shouldn't plan. And again, unless, and we've talked about this before, unless it's somebody you already know, but if you're just meeting up from Bumble or something, you shouldn't plan a date to be 2-3 hours.
I think every time. I've only had, I think, one date that's ever been under 2 hours, and that's because I wanted it to end so fast. And I've been on a lot of dates, and they've all easily exceeded 2 hours. Easily. But I guess if you don't have much to talk about, then maybe it'll be closer to 1.
Yeah, maybe. I'll tell you, it's funny you mentioned the most popular first date option, according to this survey, once again, conducted by Canada Dry, the ginger ale, they said coffee date.
That's why nobody ever gets together.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
We're getting into September here. Isaiah, you know anybody doing Sober September?
I don't think so. Is that trending right now?
It is trending. Yeah, it's Sober September is probably exactly what you think it is. It's like dry January, but in September. You take a break from alcohol, and apparently, according to some experts, obviously, a lot of health benefits can come from that. So maybe something that some people might be interested in trying. I guess, we're a few days into September. It's not too late to start, right?
Oh, yeah, it's still fresh September. It might as well be September 1st.
Now, right. The past few days don't count. I am curious why, there's 12 months in the year, but there's really only 2 that have no drinking challenges associated with them. January makes sense. New year, new you. Maybe some people go a little more wild. I know I do this with like food and stuff. When you're coming up to Christmas time, that's when it's Christmas, it's vacation, stuff like that. New Year's, so it's holidays. You're having fun, but then January you got to shut things down. But why September? Why that would be the other month where it's like this is a month where a lot of people decide to shut it down, dial it back a little bit, and say no to alcohol for a while, even if that's normally something they do.
Well, I'm assuming yesterday was considered the end of summer.
Yeah.
So I assume that's the transition they're looking for
that
here.
It's a new season.
Yeah, the summertime's over. The fun and games outside are over. But it also is the start of college football, the timing there. I don't think it's perfect. It wouldn't be if I were to do like a sober month.
Yeah. Which one would you pick?
I think I would do maybe October.
Oh.
My reasoning for that is because then I'm already like a month into football.
Yeah.
Summer is long gone because right now it's still, like for me, I have not given up on summer yet.
Yeah.
It's still warm outside for me.
Hang on to summer as long as you can.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's still hot out, it's the summer isn't over yet. We're in October. I feel like once October 1st hits, it's over. I mean, the summer's over. If you're still holding on then,
yeah,
way too long.
What if it's 90 degrees though?
You got to move on to the fall.
It still has to be fall, huh?
Yeah, it's fall.
I think maybe sober September makes sense because of just the thoughts, kind of the same thing as January, where where you have Christmas and you have all the you're letting loose a little more, you're being a little free. With sober September, you're coming out of the end of the summer, vacations, good times, whatever. Maybe you let loose a little more. And so it's a reminder that, once September hits, it's time to get serious again. Serious about life.
Lock back in.
Yeah, right. Focus. But there are definitely, if you're looking at like benefits of it, even if, and not even just health benefits per se of like, your blood pressure will go down or whatever. But the idea that if you do a sober month, it gives you a chance to reset and reconsider your relationship with alcohol to see maybe if you miss it like a little too much, then it might be a sign. Or if you set out to do sober September and you just find yourself not able to do it, that could be a sign that maybe it's time to seek some help because maybe you don't have quite a healthy relationship with alcohol. And so maybe that could help your health.
Or it'll just help you lose some weight before the holidays.
That's right. There's one last chance to do that too. So there you go. Sober September, something to consider. It's not too late to start here coming out of the holiday.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
I've got a dating thing that doesn't have a snappy name to it. And I think we need to coin a term for this. You ready for the situation?
Let's hear it.
What do you call it when you're dating somebody and you know that this person's probably not the right fit for you? Like, that the relationship probably isn't going to go anywhere long term. And if it does, that might be a mistake. But you're too nervous to end things because maybe being in a bad relationship is better than not being in a relationship at all.
Being in a bad relationship is better than being in a relationship at all.
Than not being in a relationship.
Than not being in a relationship at all.
That's what's stopping you from just doing what you probably need to do and break up with the person.
It's a tough one.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
Tough situation.
Yeah. I know I've definitely had that happen to me before. And what do you think about, like, what if we called it like voiding?
I hate it.
You hate that?
Yeah, it just doesn't really fit.
No, because I think the other person's filling the void. I think they're filling the void. Does that make sense, or do you have a better idea?
I can't. Off the top of the dome here, I think maybe we considered voiding.
I don't know if I can think of something better than that. Maybe at 8772 Radio U or somewhere, someone will come up with a word for this. But to me, I think voiding for now is the best way to put it, where you're you're too afraid. You're too afraid to give up the other person because even though you're not truly happy with them, you're afraid of what it would be like without them. And, that can happen. We just talked about alcohol, too. It can happen with not just with relationships, but I think sometimes we're prone to doing that, is that there'll be certain stuff in our lives that we know is not necessarily good for us, but the idea of giving it up is scarier than just continuing on. It's scary enough or uncertain enough that you just don't know, so you can't give up the stuff that probably you should leave behind because it's filling some kind of void, even if it's not the right thing to fill the void. All that said, I think one time the answer often is that if it's a square peg in a round hole situation, you got to fill the void with what actually belongs there, and a lot of times that's Jesus. Is that God is what's actually missing from your life that could be filling some of those voids that we're filling with unhealthy stuff that's dragging us down, and we're just we can't quite give it up. Test that out. See how that works for you. Start talking to Jesus. See if he can fill some of those cracks, some of those voids in your life that you're filling with other stuff. Let him know what you're going through. Start talking to him and see what he can do for you. You want to know more? Check out RadioU.com/free gift.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Finally have some football to talk about here. Some actual games being played in college. Isaiah, football headline number 1. Colorado lights up TCU in Coach Prime's debut. How good is Colorado for real?
They're not great. They looked good. But I think we're putting a little bit too much value in TCU in that first game, returning off of the national championship debut last year. I think that they're solid. Their win total was 3.5.
Yeah.
Do I think they're going to come over top of that? Yes. Do I think they'll have a positive record? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like I watched the Colorado game. I was fully expecting TCU to win, so it was a shock. And Colorado looked good, but I think people might get a little too excited because of the flashy personality of Deion Sanders, their new coach, and then they do have a few star players. Travis Hunter, it's wild.
Great player.
He plays offense and defense. Who does?
Incredible.
Literally nobody does that. Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, a quarterback. He's hyping him up as a Heisman contender. I think that's where you start to get a little. Putting the cart in front of the horse a little bit. I think Colorado, I'll say it, I think they lose to Nebraska this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
How do you, because you get so hyped up, how can they be focused this week after such a big win? So I don't know. But yeah, you're right. TCU, maybe we're overrated. They were a little overrated coming into the season too, which contributes to this.
You see how much of a drop-off it is if you were in the national championship last year and coming in this year, you're ranked number 17 in the preseason poll. That's a huge drop.
That's a huge drop, and that wasn't big enough because they lost so many of the good players. Obviously, their quarterback, Max Duggan, and their wide receivers, and they lost so many of their good players. So TCU they were overrated. Colorado was underrated, but Colorado's now overrated to me. What about Florida State defeats LSU? And now the question is, does LSU actually suck?
They don't suck, but they did not look good. But if you actually watch that game, you would know that LSU got stopped like 2 times inside the 5-yard line. They had a lot of opportunities that they just didn't take advantage of. I think they'll bounce back from this and still have a good season. Their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, is a good player. Their schedule, they still have some big games left. They play Alabama. They still play Texas A&M. But the only thing for them now is their ranked opponents. I mean, they pretty much just have Alabama. And so for them, if they want to get in the college football playoff, they're going to have to win out and probably win the SEC championship game. And it is not a good look for them the rest of the way.
Yeah,
their chances have dwindled.
LSU is a weird team because anytime their coach Brian Kelly is one of those guys that anytime he loses one game, then everybody all of a sudden assumes it's their chance to say, yeah, see, I told you he sucked the whole time, and they're going to go 10-2 or 11-1 and have a real good season. And it's looking much better for your prediction because you had Florida State in the college football playoff, and I had LSU. But I think LSU is still going to bounce back. They don't suck. And then the biggest upset of the weekend was last night. Duke beating Clemson. Your thoughts?
I think if you're a Clemson fan, it's not time to freak out. Duke had a great game last night, but Clemson has a brand new quarterback, a lot of new moving parts. I mean, overall, Clemson versus Duke, Clemson's the better team. They're the more talented team. At the end of this year, they'll have a better record than Duke will. But sometimes in that week one game, if you're on the road, it was a night game, it just doesn't go your way. The only thing that really hurts Clemson here is very similar to LSU, and they don't have a lot of huge games to really bounce back. They have Florida State and Notre Dame, and those are the two games left in their schedule that are really going to matter. If they win out from here, they obviously can still make the college football playoff, but do I see that happening? I do not. I don't think Clemson is bad. I don't think Duke is better than them, but I think they got caught last night, and sometimes when you get caught like that, especially when you get blown out, it really hurts you the rest of the way.
I think Clemson's in trouble. I think it is time to panic.
You think it's over?
I mean, I mean, you can say if they win out, they can still make the playoff. That's technically true. I just think if you lose to Duke 28-7, I don't think Duke is bad, but you're not good enough to win out. I don't think.
I mean, they're not going to win out.
No,
I think they're going to have a positive record. They'll still be a top 25 team, I think.
But that's not expectations in Clemson.
Should be now. It's over. I don't know why they're 3 years in. Like, they were never a powerhouse. They were good for 3 years. Like, they were good for Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. Shocker, it's over. It's
time to panic.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
I don't know if you've seen the rumors swirling, but apparently there's some scuttlebutt out there that Johnny Depp is dating Jenna Ortega. Have you seen this?
I have seen this. Isn't that sounds like a large age gap?
It'll be
60 and 20, maybe?
It'd be 40 years, yeah.
Is that big? Is that big anymore?
Is that too big?
Could it be too big?
I'll tell you that although these rumors are swirling, and even though there's a big age gap, don't they seem, maybe it's just because they're in like Tim Burton-y stuff, but don't they actually kind of look similar. You think that?
No.
You don't think they look similar? They look like they could be related.
What?
I think they could be, not only like age-wise, but just looks. She could be his daughter. I could see it. It'd be believable. She should play his daughter in a movie.
Well, if they're dating, that would be kind of weird.
That would be weird. But apparently they're not dating. I know the rumors are swirling, but both Jenna Ortega and Johnny Depp's team have shut down the rumors. Jenna herself says, "This is so ridiculous, I can't even laugh." Meanwhile, Johnny Depp's camp said, "Mr. Depp has no personal or professional relationship with Miss Ortega whatsoever. He has never met her or spoken to her. He is not involved in any project with her, nor does he intend to be. He is appalled by these baseless and malicious rumors that are intended to harm his reputation and career."
That's pretty strong verbiage from the Depps.
It sounds like he hates her. He's not involved with any project with her and doesn't intend to be. Those are strong words.
I wouldn't say something like he hates her, but he's really trying to turn this down.
Yeah. Do you think it would make him look bad?
It's just hard to say nowadays, because actors do this a lot.
He wouldn't be the first person in Hollywood to have like a large age gap.
He's coming off a lot of heat recently.
Yeah.
So I think he's maybe trying to just lay a little lower, get his name out of the news a little bit.
Yeah, if there's somebody who doesn't need a controversial relationship, it's probably Johnny Depp is right up there. Right up there. But I don't know. I just don't. The rumors are swirling. There's no real, I don't know if there's a real good reason for why people assume they started dating.
I'm sure someone made up a rumor.
Yeah, but, a lot of times when it's based out of completely nothing, it doesn't go anywhere. People are like, yeah, that's stupid. In this case, it's taken off.
What's the names that do it? Jenna Ortega, Johnny Depp. It's believable. I'll say it.
You think it's believable?
I think it is believable. I don't think it is, obviously they shut it down.
Yeah.
I don't think it's true. But if I had overheard this, I wouldn't be like, no chance. I'd be like, I could see it.
You want to We should do this too. We should get a rumor swirling.
Get a rumor on?
Yeah, like why don't we just make something up out of whole cloth about and somebody else dating somebody? See what happens.
It's a good idea.
You got any?
Not off the top of the dome.
I heard that Meryl Streep is dating Timothy Chalamet.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, you did. Even though Timothy Chalamet is dating somebody else now. The Jenner, Kylie Jenner.
Oh, they together?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Maybe not anymore.
Yeah, now that Meryl Streep's in the equation.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Did you ever do this? Surgery to change the color of your eyes?
Sounds cool.
It sounds cool. You're in on it?
I'm not a big eye guy. Eyes kind of freak me out.
Uh-huh.
One of my bigger fears is anything happening to my eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm out on the whole surgery thing, unfortunately. But it would be cool to be able to change your eye color.
It would be cool. And it is actually an option. You can get, they call it keratopigmentation. And it is a procedure that permanently can change your eye color, as in like, what is it? The iris is the colored part. Is that right? And
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think that's the colored part of your eyes. Okay, you have brown eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty dark brown eyes. If you were going to change the color of your eyes, what would you change them to?
That's a good question. If I were to change mine, a lot of people would lean blue.
Yeah, I'm looking at like the people that have some of the examples of the surgery. It's like they're all blue, different shades of blue.
I think it'd be kind of cool to have blue eyes, but I've got really dark features, so if I had blue eyes, I think it could be kind of freaky looking.
Yeah, that is what everybody here. I think the many of these people, it looks kind of creepy to me.
I agree.
So I don't know if it will work with you, or maybe that just doesn't say much about this surgery, that it doesn't look as natural as you would hope.
And the eye color that you get usually fits you.
Yeah.
If you go changing it, it's like if I just dyed my hair blonde all of a sudden, like it just wouldn't fit me. I would look insane. If I just made my eyes blue.
If you dyed your hair blonde and made your eyes blue,
maybe that would fit.
I think it might fit.
I would look wild.
Yeah. You'd look a whole lot more like Ken.
Yeah.
I think, here's the other thing to me, is that just, this feels like such one of the least important things that you could change. I know people always see your eyes, but you know, like if you're at the point where you think everything is perfect about me except my eyes, I'm really comfortable with that, except the color of my eyes, I don't know. There's just got to be other stuff that's more important, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like noticing eye color, like if you had closed your eyes before this segment and asked me what color your eyes were, I would have had no idea.
You wouldn't know, even though you stare at them all the time.
Right now, they're brown, huh?
Yeah.
They're brown. But yeah, I have no idea. If you asked me, like any of my friends' eye colors, I'd have no idea.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't even think of like people that work here.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Like, what color are Nikki's eyes?
Nikki's are green?
I feel like they're not brown.
They're blue or green.
Generically, you ask me anybody, I just guess brown.
Brown.
And I think I'd have a pretty good percentage of being right.
I would say either green or blue.
Yeah.
I'm leaning green for some. No, they're blue. I think they're blue. I think they're light blue.
Nikki doesn't have blue eyes.
Yes, she does.
There's no chance.
She has blue eyes, I think. I'm not for sure, though.
What about Sledgehammer? Michael, our boss. We call him the Sledgehammer.
He's got brown. He's got that brown eyes.
Probably brown.
Same thing with Moneybags. He's brown, too. I think Big Country, though. I think he's got blue eyes.
I think everybody here has brown eyes.
I think Big Country has blue eyes.
I think Nikki's would be like hazel. You think she has hazel eyes? Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think that might be blue.
I don't know.
But I don't know for sure.
But see, this shows how unimportant it is. Or maybe if they're so striking after this surgery, you could really stand out.
You could be that guy with the eyes.
Would you confess, though? Would you tell other people, like, when they comment on your eyes,
actually,
this is surgery?
Natural, baby.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Isaiah, we had a story last week about a couple that instead of leaving a tip after going out to eat, they wrote no tip because it's very rude for you to ask me and my wife if we wanted separate checks. See if this one is even worse. We have a woman, a waitress who did not get a tip. Instead of getting a tip, she got the low. You want to cut and start over?
Yeah.
She got the line, "Don't call my husband sweetheart."
Should have left him alone, I guess. Clearly, she's a little bit protective of her hubby.
Yeah.
Of her sweetheart.
This must have been a very flirtatious waitress to call a husband sweetheart in front of his wife. This is crazy, right?
I don't think so. No, which part are you putting? Where?
No, I mean, it's crazy to not leave a tip and say, "Don't call my husband sweetheart."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, how would she have had to say it for it to actually to warrant this?
Maybe she was repeatedly saying it.
Still, though.
How many times?
That's pretty typical for some people. Like, what I'm thinking is this could not have taken place in the South, because in the South, this would be so commonplace, right?
Yeah.
That the wife wouldn't be, the actual wife in this scenario would be accustomed to this, and it wouldn't. So this must have been like somewhere in the Northeast or something.
So you're cool with sweetheart.
Yeah, sweetheart's fine.
Let me just run through a bunch of them, and let's say if we're good or no.
Okay.
What if they said honey?
Yeah, that's fine also.
Sweetie.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, at that point, it starts sounding like you're a grandma talking to your grandchild, but.
What if it's sugar?
Oh, now that sounds a little flirtatious.
What if it's lovely?
Lovely? I've never heard that.
That's what I say. What? That's what I say.
Oh, you say lovely, I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, well, that's what I say. Unfortunately, yeah. Of course, that's the one that trips you up.
Yeah.
Stinks for me.
See, I just, it's hard to imagine to me, even if, like, what else must the waitress have been doing, or could the waitress have been doing that would warrant this? Because just saying, "You want some more water, sweetheart?" That's nothing, right? You're not going to tip because of that?
Well, I think it also depends, like, what's the age, you know? What age is everybody in this?
Yeah, we don't know that. We do not know
the waitress, who said he appeared, the couple was in their 50s to early 60s, apparently. That was the age.
So how again, I can't picture, I can't fathom in my mind what this waitress must have been like that could have warranted this.
I don't think it's warranted.
Yeah.
I think it's the other person.
Yeah.
That wrote the "Don't call my husband sweetheart" that probably was in the wrong.
Maybe there's been issues before, perhaps.
Maybe he's like repeatedly called sweetheart.
Yeah.
She's like, "Why are they always calling you sweetheart?"
Maybe in the past, calling sweetheart has been the first step for him. You know what I'm saying?
So yet again, I don't even think we can put this on him. This sounds like a her problem.
Yeah.
She didn't leave a tip for somebody. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It's not the waitress's fault.
I'm not looking for answers for this woman. She's in the wrong.
There is no answers. There's no excuse.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
What is the most stolen car in America? Which car would you guess that would be?
I probably would guess one of those cars that, aren't there some that have been in the news that are like super susceptible to being like their door broken into or something?
That's right. You're talking about the Kias and Hyundais, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they, there's something with a USB thing. It was a TikTok hack that was shown off, and then it's been really a big difficulty for Kia and Hyundai owners for a long time. And so all that would lead you to think that those are the most stolen cars in the United States, right?
Well, that's what the news wants you to think.
But that's all wrong.
No.
Yeah.
They can't be.
Yeah, no, they're not the most stolen car in the United States. In fact, the highest stolen Hyundai or Kia actually only clocks in at number 6 on the ranking. The number 1 most stolen car in the United States is the Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat.
That's your warning.
It's stolen at an alarming rate too. 25 out of every 1,000 insured Charger SRT Hellcats is stolen.
What's that percentage?
That's like 8%. No, 6%.
So if you have a Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat, could be in some trouble. You know why this is, right?
What's that?
I think the reason this is because if you get yourself in one of these, even if the police see you break into it, they won't be able to catch you.
Is that what it is?
If you were on TikTok, I see this all the time. The Hellcats are like the getaway car. Like they'll like challenge the police pretty much. So like when the police try to pull them over, they'll just rev it up and just try to escape. And the Hellcats, they always do.
That's
because they're so fast. They got that engine in them.
Yeah,
that heavy boy engine.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Oh, it's all over my TikTok.
So if you're going to steal a car anyways, you might as well steal one that's fast enough to be able to escape when you get caught.
And because they're sick.
Yeah, they are cool looking. Well, that was now I have an answer there. The Dodge Charger Hemi came in at number 2 as the most stolen. Then you have the Infiniti Q50, the Dodge Challenger, Land Rover, Range Rover, and finally, that's where Kia comes in. So now, granted, keep in mind, too, that we're doing this it's a percentage of how many cars are sold overall. So obviously, I guess it would make sense. There may be a higher total of Kias stolen.
Because there's
way more Kias out on the road.
True.
That said, though, I guess your percentage odds of having your car stolen based off of what it is are lower than if you have a Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat. You got to watch out. Keep that thing under lock and key.
Oh, yeah.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.